It is 7 p.m. on Tuesday, June 7th, 2022. We're going to open the committee of committees meeting. If you please do roll call.
Committee members, Chris Samples is absent. John Talbot.
Here.
William Luxinger.
Here.
Nathan Maz is absent. Jen Christensen. Here. Bill Motisi.
Here.
President Rick Worm.
Here.
Treasurer Brenda Onavini is absent. I Clerk Sandy Mazem here. Public Works Supervisor Brett Berge.
Here.
Park Supervisor Nate Hill.
Here.
And Engineer Matt Hansen.
Here.
All right, now we know who's here. Entertain a motion for the minutes.
I say, no, there is an audio issue tonight. This is our only microphone.
Speak loud.
Just speak loud.
All right, speak of that.
I'll make a motion to approve the May 3rd, 2022 Committee of Committees minutes.
Sorry.
Jen makes a motion to approve the May 3rd, 2022 committee of committee meeting minutes. John seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say aye or nay, whichever one. Motion passes 702.
All right, Nate Maz.
702.
All right,
Call him in.
Here.
here, there you go.
Report of the office. Under me, I don't believe I have anything this evening, so we will move quickly to Sandy.
All right, so the discussion on the credit card processors, I did reach out to the other credit card processor that's compatible with our new software. They did come in at 3% instead of 3.25 on the interest rate or on the percentage rate for the fee. So they are cheaper than the other person and they're willing to match the rest of our rates. So by moving credit card processors, regardless, we are going to increase our rate because our current percentage rate is 2.45, which is unheard of in the credit card industry at this point. So I'm going to have Mark Heinley, the village attorney, look over the contract with the point to pay people and at some point present that to the village for approval. You're looking at me like you have questions. Okay. All right. Oh. All right. Gentle though, you wear the ties. Anyway, so I'm gonna continue working on that. The Stillman Valley Junior Tackle License Agreement is inside of your board packets. Did anybody read it? Oh, I did.
Better.
Did anybody read or have any questions on the junior tackle agreement? It essentially covers the 2 sheds and the the use of the press box.
Anybody have any questions on that?
All right, I'm gonna present it then to the junior tackle board and let them take a look at it then. I just want to make sure that it covered everything you guys wanted.
Of note too, they did remove the wording on the sign that the board had discussed. I noticed that today. I saw Brad out there.
The donated by sign?
Yeah,
Perfect.
that's been addressed.
All right, and then I'll send them the rest of the agreement. Chris Samples?
Here.
704.
All right. The last thing on there is the discussion on date for the public hearing on the appropriations ordinance and credit card policy. I'd ask each of you to be here at 6 o'clock on June 28th. We're going to do a 6 o'clock and it's going to be a dual public hearing. I'm going to do one meeting for both of the issues that require a public hearing and then we'll have our 7 o'clock standard admin meeting. Rick and I discussed it, and with there being two things up for public hearing, we would rather be done early than have to roll over into the 7 o'clock meeting. And Mark Heinley will be here for all of that as well.
We'll also be doing closed session.
Yeah, and and then at the end of the meeting, we'll do the closed session, review the closed session minutes when Mark's here. So if you could all be here at 6 on June 28th. I will also send you reminders with the agenda and everything that you need for those public hearings anyway. I'm not sending you a reminder the day of.
No, that's
All right. All right. I think that's all I have under me.
All right, well, Brenda?
Did you want to talk about the draft budget or did you want me to? Me?
Please.
Okay, so in your board packet was a draft budget. You'll see that the most important part is near the end, in which there is a estimated deficit of 710. Oh, I highlighted it in yellow. See how so good sometimes. If you saw in your board packets highlighted in yellow, you'll see the most important part. You'll see that we are proposing a budget that has in the red 710,316. However, that being said, the majority of that is the pond project, which we don't anticipate being paid solely out of 1 year. Additionally, that pays off the IEPA loan without taking any money out of investments. So we would simply just continue using the extra funds that we received to pay it off. And keeping in mind that we were right around 1.2 in the black at the end of the last fiscal year. And so I think that we can manage to make this a balanced budget by the end of the fiscal year by just watching our P's and Q's like we did last year. Again, this is the plan for the IEPA loan payoff was to remove money from investments. This is negating that so that we are keeping it in investments. I would ask that everybody take a close look at this budget before the appropriations on June 28th and let us know if there's any issues. And I know that if you need to come in and meet with Brenda, she's willing to do that. I think Chris came in and met with Brenda. And if you just have questions or want to know what's in line items or things like that.
Keep this on the agenda between now and then.
Yeah.
That way, if they have
Yeah, there's
questions, they can
only one
ask.
more meeting.
That's fine.
We did meet and discuss probably 2 months ago during this. We got the budget down pretty much to a zero budget, which would have involved taking money out of the Schwab to pay off the loan. However, we did end up with a surplus in the last fiscal budget that we used to pay down that balance. And where the market is, that if we were to pull funds out of the Charles Schwab account, we might have taken a loss on some of that. So we elected that wouldn't be a good time. And that this avenue does eventually get it paid off, and it's still, correct me if I'm wrong, still keeps the planned capital purchases that were put off last year, such as the backhoe
Mhm.
and the street projects and everything else. So
The truth is, it's a balanced budget, you're just rolling over the expense from last year,
Yeah.
that's the only difference.
yes, and not having to withdraw money from our.
Right.
Yeah.
Do the investments.
It is due diligence on the part of the administration here, and the long term over the years is paying off this fiscal year. But at the end of this fiscal year, we should be in a very, very positive manner.
Question for you.
Mhm.
I would certainly like to see some of the American Plan Rescue Act. Can we take can we jump on some of that money?
We did.
For our parks and.
We did.
some of our
So
other
if you
stuff?
look in the budget, there's actually funding in there that we received from its shortened name is ARPA, from the ARPA funds, and we've used it to pay towards the SCADA project.
But we still got more that we can do and apply for, correct?
No, we have received everything we can except for the.
Oh, that was on the
ex-
first phase, I'm talking about the second phase.
Yes, so, I highly encourage you to come in and talk to Brenda about it,
Okay,
because
right,
she
that- I will
attends
then-
seminars weekly about it. But we have received all of the funds directly from the state and federal government that we are eligible to receive at this time.
So we don't have anything in the future that we're gonna.
No,
We do
there's
have
money
a
out
lot.
there, but there are a lot
And
of,
you helped our.
well, there's a lot of requirements for the money for the build, what is it? It's not Build Back Better, what's the one they actually passed?
It's the
The infrastructure.
Yeah, the bipartisan infrastructure act.
We did apply for that.
Was that?
We did, that's the one we applied for.
That one is the Rebuild Illinois Downtown Main Street grant.
But
The
the
state.
infrastructure, rebuilding infrastructure, one that they passed, has a lot of, I don't know, how do I want to put it? Contingencies upon it that you have to meet to get it.
Yeah.
That was part of the thing that I was looking at. It's all part of it. It was a lot of money. They had $1 billion over the next 5 years. But
Yeah.
you had to qualify, and that might be harder to do than what you think.
So Brenda and I receive weekly notifications from the local DCEO office letting us know what grants are available. And if we see one that's eligible, we forward it on to the correct trustee. So we do keep an eye on those as well.
Just another note too, is that we do also reach out to our neighboring communities to help them to make sure they're getting what they deserve.
We do. Yep.
The Illinois Department of Transportation also sends us stuff when it might be facilitating the National Department of Transportation grants.
Yeah. Yep. So a lot of the trustees are receiving information on grants that are available, but as for the funds that we were eligible to receive, Brenda's all over that, and those are already planned in the budget.
Anything further on budget?
The reason I discussed it without Brenda being here, and I'm glad William showed up, is that this will come into play with some of the line items further down on the agenda tonight for discussion. That's it.
All right. Matt?
All right, status report, we've got about 3 projects in activity, microservicing. The contractor has executed contracts, I think, that's what Sandy's working on right now, is village executing it. Once we have those, then, that project should be ready to go. It's just a matter of scheduling the time with the contractor to get the microservicing done. The Junction Road sidewalk replacement and, entrance for the fire station. Dale's kind of worked up some preliminary drawings. He's kind of outlined a couple options for the entrance for Brett and Chris to look at, and a couple sidewalk areas with some ADA crosswalk issues to see whether we want to address those at this time. So talked to Brett before the meeting, and I think we're going to just try to get a meeting scheduled with Chris and Brett to kind of review them and make those final decisions so we can get the plans finalized and ready for bidding. So.
You know, I meant to send you an email this week, but I got sick on Monday, so I didn't have an opportunity to, but I meant to send you an email to ask about the Edson Road seal going that we discussed when, was it Dale who was here?
I believe it was when Matt, Dale, myself, and we talked about it. I don't remember all the details of the discussion, but I remember we had mentioned an A1, I believe it was.
Right, for Edson.
We've got, I've got it on the list here of projects, so you want to, would we, yeah, but I don't remember the updated cost on that, or?
Yeah, basically, we were just looking to see what an updated
Cost?
yes, for this season would be.
Okay, I'll get that.
Oh, and the other thing we were discussing was you know what, I'll talk to you after the meeting for that one, because it's just the previous project that needs some attention.
Okay. Sounds good. And then the last one is the water treatment plant filter improvements. We got 2 proposals I handed out to everybody tonight from Stenson and Solstrom to do that, you know, kind of small concrete wall along the bottom of the filter to kind of encapsulate the under drain plate and stuff there to prevent any you know, potential future leakage and stuff there. Maybe some corrosion there.
Come on in, you're good.
Solstrom's proposal was for $12,375 and Stenstrom's was $15,450. Both pretty close, and they were both under what we had kind of estimated, so it must not have been as difficult as what I kind of envisioned they might have to do there. So they're there for, I guess, the board to kind of consider. You know, talking to Brett earlier, it sounds like whatever reason the seepage is kind of leakage is kind of stopped for a while, but you just want to just do it and get it done. We can get it going, or if you want to just kind of wait and see what happens with the. See if it develops again, or
One of those things, I mean, obviously the problem's never going to get better or go away, but for right now, it's kind of dry. So, you know, it's just one of those things.
I'd hate for the plug to come out at some
Agreed.
point and be a bigger problem in a rush than now.
And it's probably, I mean, honestly, it's going to be easier to work with concrete when there's not water. So,
Spilling out of it.
Sure.
yeah. So, okay.
So do we want to put on some things we can do on it?
Yeah, which one you wanna go with?
Well, I mean, it's for the exact same work, correct?
Yes, yes.
These portions doesn't really say details on it as well as the step shows does, so.
Yeah, they just referenced our construction drawings that we gave to both of them.
So the amount of work and scope of work is exactly the same.
Yeah, scope of work's the same.
I mean, then I would like to go with the cheaper. I mean, unless someone has a complaint about the contractor themselves.
And
They both do good.
I'll double check, but I don't think we need to waive competitive bidding because we're far below the $25,000 limit. They're at 13 and 15, yeah. So I'll just put it on the consent agenda for next week.
I unfortunately won't be here.
I guess the last thing, since, especially since William brought it up, I don't know if we're moving closer or not, but, the governor did announce last week the, Rebuild Illinois Public Infrastructure Grants. Those were due June 30th of 2020, and they just got announced here last week, so,
Like 2 years
Seems
later.
pretty timely.
That's a bureaucracy for you.
I imagine Christopher's not very fast.
No, this is a different grant program and stuff here. So they're slowly working through them. I assume since he's now starting to announce them, he must think this is the right window that's gonna help him get reelected. So I'm assuming we're gonna start seeing a slow release of all these grants, announcements that are pending. Let's just put it that way.
Right up till November, is that what you're saying?
Probably right up till November is right.
So,
Hopefully soon.
I do it.
And that's all I have.
All right, move on to committees, community development events, Jen?
Last Tuesday, we had the blood drive, there were 17 people that came in. It wasn't as good as I wanted to, but there was one, at the installment of the high school, they had the student council of theirs the end of April, so I think that may have hurt, but anyway, this week we have our 610 days and our garage sales and all kinds of stuff going on. And then we have the electronic recycling on June 12th. And the garbage bulk pickup will be on the 15th. And then July 3rd, we will have our fireworks. And then we will have the,
Good weather train. That's funny, you know, Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
He went underneath the car. It is his head, I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Scraped his head. It was so bad.
Oh, Charlie.
I don't know. Yeah.
Keep going, Jen. You're fine.
on July 3rd, we have the fireworks, and then following the fireworks, we'll have our movie in the park, which will be Satan 2.
All right, finance, William?
We have a budget appropriations meeting on June 28th at 6 p.m.
Go figure.
That's it.
All right. Ordinance enforcement, Bill?
I'd just like to reiterate that with the ATVs and motorcycles and our regular traffic, they're all out there. And I hope that everybody would use good judgment and try to follow the laws that are out there. Life is very precious, as we all know, and we can't bring it back. So I think that's it at this point. Thank you.
Parks, John?
Mason has an update tonight on the pond project. Yeah, so just real quick, I just got some slides that have graphics on them, but I just want to give you guys an update. Number one, this is our existing park. You know, obviously you guys have from previous to my being here, concerns about sedimentation, erosion, algae, dead fish, all those types of things. So slide 2, upon starting working here, I took some of the information that was available from Kenny and the previous boards and we worked with program to develop this master plan, which outlines the kind of the amenities for the park, future park amenities. We completed that last year. It includes, as you can see, rebuilding, reconstruction, reconfiguring of the pond, addition of 3 soccer fields and a 4th baseball diamond along with various other amenities. And thanks everybody for your feedback earlier. We were talking about budgets and how to phase in amenities. That will be very helpful moving forward. The third one, at the same time after the master plan was developed, we then started looking at grants. So the 10 acres north of the existing community park, we applied for an OSLAD grant. And as the discussion just was held, we received information from DNR that the awards will be delayed till summer or fall, probably in October prior to.
There you go, Chris.
But this was just a concept plan. This was just a concept plan of the land purchase that we sent down. It's not set in stone. This is just basically saying, hey, here's some things that we can do with it. So that's still up in the air. As far as, adding any additional parking or amenities or additional park space to community park. We then started engaging with FERGRAM to do the pond reconstruction project phase 1. And so we've been meeting with engineering over the past few months, as John has probably mentioned. We are now to the point where the initial design is should be completed by the end of this week. In the last meeting we had, the depth was great. It was 15 feet deep in the pond. However, it was very large. As you can see on the north corner and the south and the southwest there, it's much larger than the existing footprint. So that created a lot more dirt work, extra liner, extra costs, and they had the cost up to near $1 million. And we said, well, pump the brakes, slow down. That's not our budget. So the current, the pond has now been reduced in size, the depth is still there, and the direction was to get a net close to 0 cut and fill, remove material, fill material, to reduce costs. The other thing that we found out related to the pond, which added to the $1 million cost, was the engineers were looking at a liner. However, the soil survey and the soil probes that were conducted this spring found clay material and did not find any significant issues relating to the subsoil.
We could have told them that.
Yeah, I could have as well. It's holding water now. So, yeah. But the concern is as you dig down deeper, you might get sand seams and there might be seepage and other issues. So at this point, we were looking at not having to have the $170,000, $160,000 in expense for liner. And then we're also looking at various other erosion control around the perimeter of the bank of the pond to obviously reduce erosion so that way we don't have sloughing banks. But if the size of the pond, shrinks, that will reduce the cost of erosion control measures. And then also, half of the cost estimate, $500,000, is just dirt work. It's just equipment moving dirt around. So obviously, less dirt we have to move around, less cost. So as of now, the final engineering documents will be ready this week for our final review. Make sure that we included those last little modifications. And then according to Jason, who I spoke to this morning, we're looking at a bids going out, opening in July with potentially starting moving dirt in August. But we will see when we get bids coming in, and fuel costs being so crazy and all that stuff. So we'll see.
So are we looking like the July 28th meeting to have this report approval put out for bid?
Well, it might be sooner. If we can get the finalized documents this week, within the next week, it might be end of June.
Well, my two voting meetings this month are the 14th and the 28th.
So it'd be the 28th. We could potentially look at
So let's
having
aim,
something
let's
to
aim
bid,
for that.
to send out for, yeah.
Well, I just need to get it before the board so that they can approve it to go out for
Yeah.
bid.
Can you check with Fairgram on their opinion on the length or the time it would take to do this work?
Gotcha.
Because I'm gonna be concerned that that timeline, that we award something, we're gonna be stuck into a price tag and the work won't even start until next year.
That is my
And then
concern.
we get locked into current fuel price and everything else, when odds are next year we'll be in a recession when everything else is cheaper.
And or.
True.
I'm just being honest.
No, it's true.
And that was the big concern about when we were budgeting, we were talking about having the fiscal year overlap and starting late, so I will definitely talk to Jason about it and get a timeline on
I
it.
hate to push this off, but
Yeah, especially because I have football and soccer wanting to use the fields this fall, so that would my project. So the last and final thing on here is the phase one is basically just deepening the pond, reconfiguring it and fixing it, and then leveling and preparing the 3 soccer fields, mass grading and getting them ready. Phase 2, which we would definitely want to look at another OSLAD grant, Open Space Land and Development Grant through the Department of Natural Resources. OSLAD for digging a pond, not that great. OSLAD for adding park amenities like soccer fields, diamonds, and those types of things, yes. So OSLAD would cover half the cost of the installation of the final seating and work done, maybe some drainage tile for the football soccer fields, a 4th baseball diamond, and then the various other park amenities, paths, recreation paths, lighting, benches, and those types of things. So that's kind of the current status of what we're thinking and what we're doing. So we would look at this fall, or this year, applying for another OSLAD grant to cover those phase 2 options, and then get it constructed, maybe delay, maybe we have to delay, and then wait on the OSLAD grant to do the implementation of the other amenities and stuff. But the one thing I will say to clarify is the engineers were instructed to prepare engineering documents assuming that we will be installing a 4th diamond. So when the grading, the mass grading and all the dirt work is done, the template will be set to add all of those amenities.
what size is that thing?
That would be a kind of a hybrid between 1 and 3, more probably like the size of 1. So it's fairly large. It'll probably end up more like a 3 size, but I believe it can fit about the size.
I see the smaller radius. That's a
Fence, yeah.
Okay, and then the larger in that, okay.
Next to baseball. So yeah, that's where we're standing. I'm happy to have any questions that you guys have.
My main concern is gonna be that if we bid this now, I don't believe that even if they did start it this year, it is going to put so much heavy equipment in that park during the beginning of the fall when that park is utilized the most, that it becomes a safety problem.
Yeah, I mean, we'd have to put up a lot of cyclone fencing and exclusion areas. Luckily, most of the activity is not there, but certainly near the diamonds and or
Yeah, where they plan to do the dirt.
yeah, right. They're gonna have staging piles up on
Right.
on the north. Basically, that whole north half of the park will be off limits and closed off during the major construction. So that's another one I can ask them about, is how we're gonna look at managing, excluding those areas and making sure that we don't have safety issues.
How much of the park will remain usable during the construction?
Well, that ain't gonna change no matter what time they do.
No, the amount of space on the part they're gonna need will stay the same, you're correct, but we need to try and correlate that at a time where.
With
the park is
usage.
Utilized the least.
So October, after October and right before freeze, so then, yeah, right at that,
Or early spring,
or early spring before.
because they're not utilizing the far north, and the east side as much, we utilize all directions.
Soccer is spring and fall, so that's the only one that would be disrupted somewhat. And I've discussed with soccer, they're aware, and they could go to Stillman and other areas. We have Ten Acre Park that we can accommodate, and.
Or if this project ends up taking 2-3 months, if we gotta give these organizations a year notice that they gotta find a temporary location that is.
Is spring soccer, the teams smaller than fall?
They're about the same.
Are they?
I just received their special use permit and they're requesting the same number of fields as in the spring. It was expanded since I started. They've added they've added more fields.
Okay.
So. That's it.
Anything further, John?
No, that's it. Thank you.
All right, streets and Chris.
Go ahead, Fergie.
Fired up for.
I can make the case for it, but,
Go ahead.
okay, forget it, we don't need a backup.
Okay.
I agree.
Yes, basically, we're looking at replacing our backhoe. As William had stated, we did put it off until this year. We had originally talked about it doing it last fiscal year. We put it off until this year. As with everything in the world right now, the price continues to go up and up and up. So this is the most current, which I'm assuming everyone has looked at it. This is the most current quote. It is basically since February, it was 115,000. Our newest quote is now 130,000. So it's basically the new version of what we currently have. It's a CAT 420. So
What years are currently?
2006, I believe. I don't all the hours on it. It's not really an hour issue. It's literally rustling and falling apart. Yeah. So there's not much left.
Would we get more value selling outright?
We're actually, well, I mean, we could try that, but us trying to put a piece of equipment out there and sell it, I mean, this is actually a fairly good trading price. This is actually very good. So, and the nice thing is they're holding the price on our used one. We figured they'd have to come out, look at it again, and he said, no, we'll go ahead and stick with it. So we didn't lose the value from the original appraisal of that machine, which is kind of awesome. So,
Assuming we could even get this backhoe, it really depends if it's still.
yeah, right now, yeah, so there is a bit of an issue. They are supposedly going to get 2 more. They're out of them right now. They're supposedly gonna get 2 more 22s. So we're hoping to lock one of those down if they do come to this dealership. Once we hit August, the 23s begin, and then then we basically would go on a list, price will go up again. So we're attempting to lock down one of the 2 machines that are hopefully going to be showing up that are still the 22 models. So the price is, yes, it's skyrocketed. So
Yeah, it's like everything else, apparently.
it is exactly like everything else. It's gonna take a while, but yes.
They got, dig a hole near the pond with it.
It's gonna take a while.
The two of them for.
So that's kind of where we're at. Like I said, our current machine, I believe, was purchased used. I don't know when exactly purchased, but it was purchased used. It's been a good machine, but it is getting very, very tired.
And you budgeted for this.
And this is in the budget. That is correct.
Increasing price?
Yep.
Thank you, Sandy.
Probably by next week again.
Just to prove the, February.
Yeah. Yes, so. So anyway, so yes, that's where we're at back.
And you're looking to have it approved next week? The
I would-
purchase of one?
I would like to, yes.
Okay.
The price goes up.
Well, that and I'm trying to lock in.
So we could get one of the 2 machines.
Yeah,
that
because
we
all it
may
takes is
or may
somebody-
not have.
So
Like I said, I don't even know if they're available now. All it takes is one or two people walk in and say, I need a backhoe, and so we don't know. We're trying to lock.
Until we've committed ourselves. then
Correct.
we lock it. Anybody have an issue with it?
So is that machine on order? Can they give us the bid if it's being made or wherever it is somewhere?
So they're not even positive they're gonna get.
Yes, we don't even know for sure if they're gonna get the two. This is what we're trying to get, so.
So you're gonna ask for a not to exceed for the purchase because we don't have an exact what you're purchasing.
As of right now, this price is locked in.
And while the price may be locked in, that serial number does not match what we will be receiving.
Then that's fine. We can do a not to exceed.
So we're gonna have to do a not to exceed
That's-
for the
yes, if that
purchase.
works.
Okay. I
Yeah.
will.
132 or 135, because you don't know if one comes in with an attachment that we weren't aware of.
Okay. I'll put that on the agenda for next week.
Thank you.
What about the lawnmower? I remember discussing this. This is a replacement lawnmower.
Yes, so basically, once again, price went up. Give me 1 second, sorry, switch paperwork here. I did have, Johnson Tractor quote us again. Price actually wasn't crazy. Original price back in January was $7,099. Current price is $7,775, so it is going up. Basically what this does is several years ago, instead of trading the mower in, we took our oldest mower out to wastewater. So, and then we're replacing our, I guess you could say, in-town. So the one in town will go to wastewater. We'll trade the wastewater mower in, which is 6 years old, get a new one that will work the ditches and in town. So this is what we did last time. So we're just, basically, this is on the road 3-year rotation.
Which one
But
was
streets
it?
is,
Our Kubota 60 inch.
streets is,
Kubota?
Yes, it's by the Kubotas.
And this too is budgeted, right?
This is
Well,
also,
we're paying for that exclusively, all right? We're not sharing that with wastewater, we're just paying for it, right?
correct. The mower that we're actually going to be purchasing is going to be on
Yeah,
the street
that's
side.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, you donate the
Yes.
mower to
It's
wastewater.
considered a donation.
Aw, thanks.
Here's a used mower.
This is the exact mower that we will receive though, so this one I will put on the consent agenda to purchase this exact mower.
Okay.
Anything further, Chris?
Anything further, Freddie?
Oh, what else?
Not till Nathan.
I figured I want to roll here.
Yep, utilities, Nathan. Brett?
No.
Are we on me now? Yeah. All right. So I got a discussion on the refrigerator sample for wastewater treatment. There is, excuse me, because my computer's taking forever. I'm using my phone. The pump thing went out, what was it? Last month, we did a thing for the pump, right? Correct? That was last month, right?
Yes.
We approved the pump.
Yes, the first new sample.
The first new sampler, right. Now, in that meantime, then the sampler that we have that's working is not working anymore.
Correct.
So we now need to replace it also. So.
It basically is.
So anyways, the price is the same, correct? The quote that was before is.
Basically the same, yes.
Yeah. So we're looking at $7,813 for the same. But it is necessary now that we don't have a working one at all.
So that's the delivery from 15.
We ordered the other one 1 to 2 months ago and haven't heard of it. So yes, everything is taking forever when it comes to water, wastewater.
Right, and I'm assuming that when the other one comes in, we'll use it to replace the one that's not working, and then the other one will.
We will use our portable.
Right, oh, the portable one, okay.
So, and they're original. So this is, they're 12 years old, give or take. 2009, 10, so they're original to the plant, so they've done their job before.
Yeah. No.
It is 2022, right?
Okay.
13 years?
So, does anyone have any questions, concerns?
Nope.
Disagreements? All right, so we can put it on for.
Still feels like we just built it.
No, you've just been on the board a long time.
That's true.
Quick update on the skater project. They've asked for another extension apparently.
You get a reduction in price.
Well, technically, our contract states that in this event that we should be backdocking, even though we've extended it twice. And this is the third time we are extending this currently. We are trying to keep a good relationship with this people and keep in good standings, but at this point, I kind of feel like a fire needs to be lit somehow, some way.
150,000.
Yeah.
So the discussion here right now is kind of to bring it kind of to everyone's opinions and things of kind of where we're at right now with this.
They got an extra year warranty for us.
I like that. I think that's a
Yeah,
great
they're
idea,
not-
because we're not asking for money, we're just asking for, you know, an extension of a warranty.
They're not charging us more, right?
No, but I mean, at this point, I mean,
assume
we've
the
had 3
warranty
extensions, and I get
doesn't-
COVID being one of them, that is understandable, because the whole world kind of shut down for a minute. The second one,
Just
the
14
third
days.
one, like, it's getting ridiculous, so.
Normally, the warranty doesn't start until they actually finish.
That's
So
correct.
you're kind of self-extending.
Yeah, well, they've extended that because of that, but I mean, at this point, until we have it in service, the warranty doesn't really matter, so.
Sure.
The current extension they're asking for is 20 days, basically. So Friday was the second completion date. The first one basically was the end of the year. We extended it to 6 months, which brought us to basically June 3rd. They're asking to go till the 24th. So that's kind of what we're dealing with.
Is it really gonna be done on the 24th?
Fergie and I even discussed too, that maybe one of the other options, that they had tossed around during their meeting is maybe even give them the 20 days and then say, but this is it, from now on, you need any more extensions, then we start applying our fines or whatever it is that we're allowed to.
That
apply.
was discussed, Sandy. That's basically what without, unfortunately, like I said, I didn't have a chance to chat with the board, but that's kind of, I put my foot down at our meeting Friday and said it's way more than it, so.
I'm kind of okay with it, I mean, even backdated the 20 days, even saying, we'll extend this extension to the 20 days, but if we don't need it, then we're backdating from the 20 days.
I like that.
And then at least then it's a self-motivating, hopefully then they'll get out here and finish it, I mean, barring that there's no emergencies.
And so the board will receive, or saying you will receive an official recommendation letter from the engineer, they're working on it, so, you guys, all of you will see something, so.
So is what you're asking, I guess, here's the
Yeah,
thing,
where are
we
we?
need an informal, opinion, so is everybody okay with asking for twofold, another year's extension, and then giving them the 20 days, but saying if you fail to meet those 20 days, then we're gonna backdate you to the original cutoff date of June 3rd, is what Nate had mentioned.
Yeah.
Is everybody okay with
I mean,
that?
I think the 20 days is given by the warranty, and then if they don't make it, then obviously we have to take.
So we're automatically asking for 1 year warranty.
That is a given, yes, to give you the
An
20
additional
days.
1 year.
Yeah.
To give you
Additional
the
1 year.
additional 1 year on it.
Yes, and then if we do not complete 24th, then we're going to back to June 3rd. And are you saying liquidated
Whatever the damages were.
damages from there then, or is that what you're
I
considering?
think that's what.
Yeah, that's what I'm like,
Sorry.
June 3rd, so it's just giving motivation to get through the 20 days.
Okay.
To be on time.
I think he understands now. We're just gonna put it that way. I think he kind of understands. So,
Good.
Alright,
sounds good. I
and
appreciate
then,
it.
in your absence next week,
Mhm.
is it okay if I discuss this with Rick? And so like, if they come back and say, this is what we're countering, or this is what we're saying, I need a point of contact in your
Yeah,
absence.
I mean, you could try to call me, but I can't
You
guarantee
can't
it.
guarantee
But
that.
yeah, I mean, and yeah, if I'm unavailable, then yeah,
All right.
obviously Rick is.
Okay, I'll try and get a hold of you first. but-
Yeah, I mean, if I'm able to get reception, I will definitely answer, but if not.
Anything further, Nate?
I think
I'm sorry.
everything, So,
Thank you.
Yeah, concluded. Yeah.
All right, anything on either unfinished business?
Nope.
All right, so I'm gonna set you up, Mike, for public.
I do ask that you use the microphone, Mike.
2 weeks ago, I told you guys, Mike had a family member looking to start a project, possibly on, looking for some of the land in the village. I spoke with Mike again yesterday, told him what we discussed and how I'd asked if anybody thought of any other locations they could possibly put it, other than on lands we're looking to make some kind of tax revenues off of. So there's Mike.
Yeah. Yeah, I talked to Rick last week, you know, so I'm looking for land, to have like its own, own company, you know, like 4 or 5 acres, you know, fenced in area, stuff like that. Down the road, you don't have, you know, like I said, plus, like in bank cars or what have you, stuff like that. And he told me like if it's close to the behind, you know, not the frontage, it's fine, you know. If there's any other land or something like that, that's just your approve, you know. I like to start something like that. I'm sure it's gonna bring revenue as far as taxes and everything, you know, as far as down the road and be, you know, we'll have some employees and what have you. And we've been in the city long enough and stuff like that, and hopefully it'll be a good project, you know, for everybody. And I don't know, as far as I get the attention from Rick, you know, that, you know, we're not looking for something like that, you know, it's not gonna create a lot of sales tax and stuff like that, but I'm sure we will down the road, you know. If you have anything, fine, if not, you know, I own a piece of land, you know, 14632, I believe, in 72. But it's a farmland, you know, we can turn that into like commercial land, you know, we can do that. Can fence it in and all that. It's up to you guys. Right. That's another idea.
Anybody have any thoughts on where other areas it could have went?
Well, Mike just mentioned that he owns some land. Where do you own land?
1560.
14632, so that is, like off the station, you know, the third entrance to the left. There, the barn.
14,600 block of Route 72 east of town, outside of the village.
Wow.
About the third parcel east
Oh,
from the Fitz property on the north hand side.
So it'd be on the other side of,
currently occupied?
It is zone agriculture in the county.
This is on there,
Yeah.
you know.
it's still within our 1.5 miles though, so we'd still be back here.
We'd like to get it out here, you know, it's fine, as long as we have the wood and stuff like that. Fence it in, gravel it, and down the road, maybe another, go garage on it or whatever, you know what I mean? It's, it'd be-
We don't have any extra land by the wastewater treatment plant.
Don't.
We don't. Maybe, yeah, maybe Billy's done a couple.
Exactly, what kind of money are you talking about running into the village?
What kind of money, the project, you know? At least couple of 300,000 start, you know, it's not an easy thing, you know, if you're talking about land and trucks and stuff like that. Minimum, you know.
How many
Huh?
cars and trucks would you have on it?
Well, depends on how it goes, you know, hopefully, you'll have some, you know what I'm saying?
Have you talked to the 3D auto recycling yard? They have more land available and resources to enter.
Well, right in there,
Across from the corner.
Yeah. No, I never, just came to the village, you know, and I like this piece better, you know, you know.
They're bunker property. Not bunker,
Say it's too small.
It is too small.
Why, parks and trucks under?
It's too small. You
Parks
could,
and trucks under?
yeah,
Well, if he's looking at having 4 tow trucks, that would fill the property.
yeah. Yeah, they're
Especially
really
if you have
struggling
a
to develop
semi-
that.
I didn't hear say you want to build it.
It's
They want to
about,
start
you know.
Trucks, some trucks. If after, we get the grant, and we build that street down there, maybe there'd be a lot against the railroad tracks out of it.
So that was actually the discussion originally that the board, that Rick had brought to the board, was to put something back behind there along the railroad tracks. But the board wasn't sure about using that lot as it's not a tax producing business. But when Mike and I originally talked before I sent it to you guys, that was my original suggestion too. But it might be a wait game where we wait and see if we can get that grant to develop the front half. before we
Well, and the
see
other thing
what
is,
happens.
with the expansion, that would be a difference too, is once you put in a garage, you pay sales tax.
Oh.
Because every time you buy a part, you pay sales tax.
Even like, yeah, in buying the car, you know, you charge so much per day and stuff like that. I'm sure you're gonna have to charge that tax on it, you know, as far as that goes. Everything, you know?
We just sell it.
Huh?
I thought we had a problem selling it.
I don't have a problem with the process.
Yes, yes, it does.
Honestly, like, I don't believe your issue's gonna be land, I think your issue's gonna be zoning. A tow yard is gonna be, an industrial zoning. And I don't believe we have anything in this corridor that is even zoned that.
We don't have anything within the village of Davis Junction that is zoned industrial. I was just looking at the zoning code, and the only thing that would be allowable would be industrial. That's not, that's
Special use.
not industrial, that's.
I don't believe your issue's land, I think your issue's gonna be zoning.
Zoning, that's when I came to the city doesn't take it, I'm sure, you know, how other business start, you know, stuff like that.
All right,
They come here first.
Once you have a location, then you're gonna have to petition the planning and zoning committee to rezone the property. It's not a problem, it's just a process.
it's all right, just
Yeah,
process.
right, yeah.
Does your comprehensive plan have any, Sandy?
What?
Industrial zoning?
Yes, it does allow for it. I was looking to see if
It's like, when did
Scandia
the farm
was,
between
oh, I guess we do, Scandia
the
is
truck stop
industrial.
and
That's our only
Is
industrial.
that in the village?
I know it's on farm.
That's the edge.
I'm actually in commercial
Is that is the farm,
because I'm a service.
to approach them.
I'm in general.
What about the-
Construction stuff.
No,
We had industrial up Junction Road too at one time.
We do not, that's all gone.
Remember you did that?
Matt and I cleaned up the zoning, when we did the zoning map in 2018. Yes.
What about the manufacturers the manufacturers, that's industrial or that's?
Rolling, but the one across from Rolling Meadows,
No, the one over here, 72. That's the junkyard, east of it?
that's not in the village.
That's not the-
No, and the auto recycling isn't in the village either,
anything east of you is not in the
the
village.
village.
It's all
Yeah.
county.
So, think, I can go to the county then?
Kinda, you'll end up back somewhat here though, because it's within our mile and a half.
Right, anything within a mile and a half, we have to okay a change on, but
Yeah,
the county's where you'd have to start anything east of you.
Oh,
and,
They have to be the ones that start the process. They'll send us the foundation.
and I think William's right too, like, we do have an application out there for some grant funds, and depending on what happens with that, may determine how this board feels about something too. And we won't know about that until November,
Between now and
between
November.
now and November, and so that may change how they feel, but we won't know until we see the grant.
Honestly, even depending on how that pans out, if you're, I don't know how soon you're willing to do this, but there's another business owner that still wants to build it, whether the grant comes or not. And so it
Yeah.
might be fiscally reasonable for the village to somewhat pursue part of that project.
what
Yeah.
kind of business? What kind of business?
I think.
I came out and said.
It would not be a competitive business of towing.
No.
Let's not go against this.
No.
No.
We,
Other liquor store.
No.
Honestly, I've been here long enough in the city. Honestly, I'm not to have a lot of stuff, going on, stuff like that. When I came in, I developed across the street, I came to the city, they agreed on helping me out $25,000. It's not, we're talking about a month, okay? And I believe at the time, the board changed, the mayor changed and stuff like that. I ended up with like $11,000. I extended the water and the gas all the way east, all the way north. And I could have done without doing that, I asked for a recapture at least from the neighbor, what's happening. I spent $200,000 just to get it to my station all the way north and east, And I don't have that right to get a recapture what happened, I never asked for a dime from the city or anything like that.
Who do you need to recapture from?
Let's say the neighbors, because like
Because
I said.
It's a requirement when we have water and sewer that the property owner take it to the farthest boundary of their land. Unfortunately, you're a corner, which requires you to go
I
both.
understand.
Right, but no,
That
nobody's
many-
connected on since.
No,
So there's nobody to recapture from.
Correct, you say it down the street, the neighbor or whatever, like I said, he should have thought of the cost, And at least tax money or whatever. If the big guy comes in, Walmart or whatever, you see here all the time, stuff like that. Look at Roseanne, I don't know who's paying for that 3 lanes and all that, just for the truck stop, Not sure.
they're probably funding that. Loves is paying for that. IDOT won't pay for
Well,
that.
three B's paid to have their water hooked up.
yeah, but he's talking about the 3-lane expansion down in front of Love's right now that's happening.
I thought they were.
No.
No, they wanted to re-drill and because they're within the one.
Oh, yeah, they did. They did. They connected to the building.
Sewer.
Yeah, the water service will.
3 Bs?
But the water goes right there because there's a hydrant right there.
We just didn't make them
And not
connect to
sewer?
sewer. No, because they have to go uphill.
We need businesses to come in, we need to help out the city and everything else, but in the meantime, not to run another business to get another business, And like, look, at Sandstorm, I'm sure they have land very cheap. Go buy a lot from them, they got it way up, that's the reason you don't see anybody coming in or can afford to buy it, it should.
Well, that was a very bad situation that
I
they
mean,
got
it
into.
should be aware, just to treat everybody equally, not, one guy versus another.
Have you looked at any of the land out by Scandia?
Is there any land by Scandia for sale or anything like that?
It doesn't have to be for sale if you reach out to the owners, but the land surrounding Scandia is already zoned industrial. So maybe, come talk to me tomorrow and I'll tell you who owns it. And you could reach out to them for a section of that, because that would be already a permitted use, and it would be, in an area where we're wanting industry like that.
By Scandia?
Mm-hmm.
And all you technically have to do is, once you own it, you just build.
Yeah, because
You don't
it's
need to do
already
anything
zoned
else.
appropriately.
But as far as over here next to the DNE, what side?
I think that's all commercial.
It's all, yeah, you'd have to have rezoning anywhere else in town.
You can rezone it?
Well,
You can.
we can, but it's a process.
But again, we're not gonna know about the grant till just before election.
Yeah,
Okay.
This gives you an opportunity not to avoid a waiting
yeah,
period.
yeah.
It allows you to, once purchased, almost start immediately.
There's a
I
good
mean,
chunk of that land
Still a
surrounding
process.
Scandia that's zoned.
A
that.
process.
But there is that parcel of land between our property and the heavy equipment repair.
5 acres.
But I don't know if it's for sale and I don't know what they want
It's
for it.
not zoned appropriately either.
Well, I understand that.
But that would be an area that would be,
You understand how the zoning works? You have to petition the village to change the zoning, you have to go before the planning and zoning, you have a public hearing, the residents come in here and tell you.
Yeah,
what
but
they feel.
it took me 6 months.
Yeah, Yeah, so that's, so if you,
We go through the lawyer in Chicago, it might take another year. Seriously, we need to do. Look up other cities and towns and stuff like that, be similar, you know, we don't have to make.
you see where that brown area is?
Yeah.
All of that is industrial, all of it. And Scandia is that little piece
That
down in the
corner?
corner.
Okay.
Scandia, so that red.
So this little area, oh, you can't see it down there. The little area on the lower right is Scandia, and then the rest of that brown is industrial.
They always say they're gonna make a road from,
And that's,
to avoid the train.
If they did, that would be further north too. It would kind of be where the yellow and brown is.
and that's fairly flat right there too.
It is, and there's a good area of separation if that development were to ever go in there to residential.
you
There's a
have the-
creek and all that.
Right, you have
just
the
down in
water.
there kind of blocking it.
So you see the darker brown, Mike?
The dark brown,
Can you put the mouse on
No, because I'm keeping the way
In
I'm
the center,
casting.
it's surrounded by like a,
it?
like.
It has, it has
a
a,
triangle.
Let me cast my desktop, then I can do it.
all right, so we're
There we
changing.
go. So,
That darker brown is water,
Yeah.
water runoff. So there's a separation between
Yeah,
that.
there
and
is an
that.
environmental sensitive drainage way through, right through
Yeah.
there, so you can't build on that, but.
no, but all of this could,
All that, is behind Scandia.
yep. There's a lot of land here.
what about the Zolid Road, you know, just off the 251?
Those
Not for us.
You go straight.
up here? Where are you looking, Mike?
Like from,
Off of 72.
251 going north, you know, is that the road?
So that's, that,
West side.
Here? This is your property right here.
Okay.
so go further north.
It's easier to just zoom out.
So once you get to that green, that ends us.
Yeah. That,
That's in the.
That's the
everything in
road.
color is in village limits. That's not Edson Road. Oh, yes,
No,
no, Edson Road's way up here. This is
No.
just a line.
Eddie?
Yeah, if Eddie were to go over, you would
Eddie.
see it, but
Yep.
but if you wanna come see me tomorrow, I'll tell you who owns this.
Don't tell them I'm done.
You're coming to see Sandy tomorrow.
The price is down.
Schedule time with Sandy now.
No, I'll give you the contact information if you're seriously interested, because William's right on that one. It's already zoned appropriately for what you're looking for. And so you wouldn't need anything but to purchase the land.
I have an idea, why don't the city ask, if they want to, let's say the city want to purchase it.
Why would we want to purchase that land?
Huh?
Yeah, we don't want-
No,
Yeah,
I'm
we
serious,
don't.
why would we want to purchase the land? We're not gonna put up a business, we not in the business of opening.
No,
businesses.
I'm not saying.
I hope we're not in business purchasing land, but yes.
Wow, we
if you
purchased it
want-
up apparently. Just saying.
Anyway, if you come see me tomorrow, I'll give you that info.
That's fine. But as far as over here, but,
I think you're gonna have to wait until that grant comes in to find out if
The
they're even
grant,
interested.
That grant covers a lot of expense.
It does.
is it coming for sure? or-
We don't know until,
Probably not.
The reason we keep, Mike, the reason we keep joking is it's an election year. So they're not gonna give it out till it'll help the election.
Might go to Ukraine.
no.
All right, anything further, Mike?
No, that's it.
I don't know if you want-
I'm gonna.
But as far as, you know, there's two things, you know, as far as the farmland, you know, you go to the county come to the city. As far
Yes,
as over here, we're waiting for the grant,
yep,
Yep.
that's it.
yep. But then there is that sweet spot down by Scandia.
Sandy, why don't you?
On the other side of that
Mike,
bridge.
there's one thing in government, it moves slow. Really, that's it.
But it's
I
a.
understand, but a lot of times, you
And
know.
we're trying to help.
It is not effective. This is something we agree on.
You know,
Ours is.
We have common
you
ground.
know, more fast.
Glenda?
Thank you. Thank you.
Come see me tomorrow, Mike.
All right, go ahead.
You're muted, Glenda.
Glenda, did you have anything? Still muted.
All right. With the board
Oh, there she
officials.
goes.
No, I don't have.
Okay. Anybody else have anything before we close?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
John makes a motion to adjourn, Chris seconds. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed, say nay. We are adjourned at 8:05.